It's pretty easy to love people who are lovable, but sometimes loving and forgiving is not the easiest thing to do, even as Christians. The second day of October 2006, a man named Charles Roberts walked into a one-room schoolhouse in Lancaster County. He had a gun and he made all of the children lay down on the floor. A few minutes later, he dismissed all the boys and he tied up all of the little girls that were there, except one who snuck out as he was adjusting the blinds. The police came a little while later, within 7 minutes. When he learned that the police were there, he shot all 10 girls, killing 5, wounding 5 others, and then turned the gun on himself. It was the most horrific thing people could imagine. Not just shooting innocent little children, but in Amish country, people who were dedicated to living peaceably and to living the old style without television or electricity or automobiles. It was just unfathomable. But what was even more unimaginable was the reaction of the Amish. Initially, they were upset and angry, as you can imagine, and hurt and confused, but very quickly they gathered and prayed. And that evening, they took dinner to the wife of the man who had killed their daughters, knowing that it wasn't her fault. They learned later that the man who was, I believe, 32 years old had lost a baby of his own, despite all of his prayers shortly after the baby was born. And he was angry at God, angry at the world, irrationally angry. But that anger didn't beget more anger, it begat love. Those Amish people went to their daughter's funerals 6 days after the tragedy, and that afternoon went to the funeral of the man who had shot them. They went and talked to his mother and consoled her, because they realized that not only had they lost a daughter, but she had lost a son. And it didn't make any more sense to her than it made to them. But still they forgave, even when it didn't make sense. Shockwaves from the shooting, but shockwaves also from their reaction to the shooting spread all over the country. And not only all over the country, but all over the world. And 6 months later, 20 more students were killed in Sandy Hook Elementary School. And instead of wallowing in their sorrow, the Amish got onto a bus and drove up, along with the mother of the woman who had shot the children, to let them know that they would get through this, they would survive. And all you can attribute that to is their Christian love, because it doesn't make any human sense. Any psychologist would say they were repressing all of their feelings, but they weren't. They were giving it to God, laying those feelings of anger and hurt at the foot of the cross, trusting that if they could forgive this man such a heinous act, that one day God would forgive them anything they'd ever done. In our own lives, every day we have little petty things that happen to us, and we can choose how we react to them. We can't choose what people say to us or how they treat us, but we can control how we react to it. And if we react in love, we know that that love will always bear fruit in one way or another, not necessarily in ways that we see immediately, but never doubt that every day we have a choice to preach a gospel with our lives. What will the message of that gospel be?